The truth about unicorns, whether you believe that unicorns were left behind when Noah loaded the ark, or that they're just a figment of an overactive imagination, unicorns are a big part of mythology. And so I decided to make it my mission in this video to find out whether there's anything more to it. Do unicorns exist? Are unicorns real? Could we ever actually breed a unicorn? All this and more coming up in this week's episode of Real World Magic. Hello and welcome back to Real World Magic, where we make your life more magical. My name is Neil Trigger, I'm going to be your magical host, and today we're talking about unicorns. In case you've prematurely donated your brain to medical science, a unicorn looks like a kind of horse creature, but with a single straight horn sticking out of its head. And it doesn't look anything like this. The horn itself looks like this, and it's said to be incredibly magical, according to legend at least. In England, the Victorians prized the unicorn very highly and even had bestiaries, which is books of cryptozoological animals like centaurs, fairies, trolls, chimeras and manticores, believing that these books were verifiable fact. Often, exotic creatures like lions or elephants sat alongside mermaids, while monkeys or parrots sat alongside phoenixes and boggarts. Yes, like the Harry Potter series. Did you really think she just made all that sort of stuff up? The Victorians not only believed in unicorns and fairies, but they actually tried to prove their existence. But, like trying to find an honest politician, it proved much more difficult than some people first thought. And so there were some people who tried to fool gullible but wealthy people who ended up not only buying the tall tales, but actually buying artefacts that prove the myth. A unicorn horn could sell for the equivalent of hundreds of thousands of pounds in today's money. Hold on, a unicorn horn? Does that mean they're real? No. While the horn itself was nothing more than the tusk from a narwhal, which itself is pretty exotic, it's not magical. At least we don't think it is. For any believers out there, these unicorn horns have been DNA tested and verified to originate from the sea. It's definitely an aquatic mammal and not a magical equine beast. Sorry. Now, as I say regularly, one cannot prove a negative, and so proving that unicorns do not exist is fruitless and pointless. It's like saying there is no such thing as a magic pebble. You and I may agree that magic pebbles don't exist, but the only way to prove that there are not magic pebbles on the earth is by taking every pebble and testing it. But even then, it might be hiding, or it could be concealing its powers. Maybe the tests we subject it to aren't rigorous enough, or perhaps it simply wasn't found in the first place. Let's now take a look at how likely it is that a unicorn has not yet been discovered, but does exist. The obvious example here is the squid. Squid were known about for ages, but the colossal squid was only discovered fairly recently in 1925. Even then, it wasn't seen as a whole squid, but discovered only by its tentacles, which were found in the belly of a whale. This wasn't a giant squid, by the way, this is a colossal squid. The giant squid is actually bigger and was discovered a bit later. It was thought to be a myth, of course, these things often are, but the giant squid wasn't filmed alive in its natural habitat until 2012. That's only 8 years ago. So is there a possibility that unicorns exist? Well, of course there is. In an infinite universe, all things are infinitely possible, but they are also infinitely impossible too. This is something that people tend to forget. Nevertheless, can we make a unicorn? If we bred a horse with a rhinoceros, could we get a unicorn? Well, no, not according to a very well-respected doctor I know who runs a famous London hospital. I've kept his name out of this video for professional reasons, but I've known him since I was about 10. Now, he told me that the reason we can't breed horses with rhinos is something called mismatched chromosomal pairing. Now, mismatched chromosomal pairing is obviously something we all know about, right? Okay, whatever. So, mismatched chromosomal pairing means that no egg is likely to be fertilised by sperm from another species. Unlike breeding one dog with another, it's the same obstacle that makes it impossible to breed a goat with an alligator. While horses and rhinoceroses, not rhinoceri, by the way, because it's Greek, not Latin, are much closer than goats and alligators, genetically speaking anyway, it's still not possible to breed from them. The sperm-egg mix would never grow, regardless of whether the horse or rhino was the male or female. And that's disappointing. So what's the best way to be sure to get a unicorn if we can't make one in the traditional way? We could change genes within a DNA strand to give a horse a single horn on its head. In fact, humans have horns occasionally themselves. The horns, like this sad-looking lady, are actually made of hair and grow in a similar way to sheep and goat horn. This is a rare condition and usually involves cutaneous horns, that is, horns that can be grown within the skin. They can be benign, but are often precancerous or cancerous and should probably be removed. So if you've got a horn sticking out of your head, please go and see a doctor. If for no other reason, then they don't look great. So we could encourage this kind of thing using DNA tampering, and that's probably the easiest way to make a reliable and replicable unicorn proxy. But would it have the same magical powers? No, probably not. But it would be pretty cool to see a horse with a genuine horn like a unicorn. To be quite honest with you, human understanding of gene alteration is still some way off this kind of DNA tinkering, and even if it wasn't, we'd probably be constrained by the law not allowing this kind of gene manipulation to happen. So this method, as promising as it might be, is probably never going to generate a horned horse. What else could we do to get a unicorn? Well, we could just hope we come across one. Perhaps we should go on a magical expedition to remote and undiscovered forests where magic is deep and ancient. But that's an idea for another Real World Magic episode. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really do appreciate every view, like and subscribe. Please comment down below, click the like button if you liked it, because that tells YouTube it was a good video and it helps me out a lot. Doesn't cost you a penny. Subscribe if you'd like to see some more videos like this and click the bell button to be notified of future uploads. That's all for today, my friends, but until next time, as always, stay magical.